It is not always your heart. It is not always your testosterone. And it is definitely not always your age. What if I told you that the real reason behind your fading strength, declining desire, and sense of vitality could be something as simple and overlooked as how you drink water? I know that sounds almost too simple to believe, but after working with thousands of men over the age of 60 in my career as a men's health expert, I have seen a clear pattern unfold again. And again, men who feel like they're slowing down, losing their spark, feeling disconnected from their partner and from themselves, and many of them think it is just age catching up. But the truth is more hopeful and far more manageable. Let me tell you about a man named Elliot. He was 69 when he came to see me, a retired high school PE teacher. Elliot had always been full of life, energetic, active, but that day he walked into my office, shoulders slumped, voice low, and said, "Doctor, I just do not feel like myself anymore. I feel like I am here, but not really living." He was not sick. His labs were normal. He was not on any serious medication. He exercised a few times a week, ate decently, and was not clinically depressed, yet something in him had dimmed. As I listened to his story, I asked him about something most men overlook. I said, "Elliot, how much water do you drink each day?" He paused, thought for a moment, and said, "Honestly, I do not really drink much, just coffee in the morning, maybe a glass of wine in the evening, water, not unless I'm really thirsty." That was it. That one quiet answer held the key to what he had been feeling. Most men do not realize this, but even mild chronic dehydration can slowly sabotage nearly every major system in your body. Your blood becomes thicker, harder to circulate. Your heart works overtime to push it through your system. Testosterone production dips your stress hormones, rise your brain, fogs your energy, crashes. And yes, your erections weaken. And yet, all the while you tell yourself, maybe this is just what getting older feels like. It is not. Water is not just something to sip after a workout or chug when you're parched. It is a foundation of circulation, of hormonal balance, of energy clarity. And yes, your performance as a man. And the most surprising thing I have learned is that it is not just about how much water you drink, it is about how you drink it. Let us come back to Elliot. I asked him to do one thing, just one: commit to drinking water more mindfully, not gallons, not complicated rules. Just small, steady sips throughout the day, started with glass in the morning. Before anything else, no cold water, no rushing, no waiting until he was dry-mouthed. He agreed skeptically at first, but 3 weeks later, Elliot walked back into my office standing taller, and with a light in his eyes I had not seen before. He said, "I do not know what exactly is happening, but I feel different. I feel awake again." It was not a miracle. It was not medication. It was physiology finally working again. Now let me explain why this matters. Your blood is over 90% water. Every organ in your body relies on that liquid highway to deliver oxygen, nutrients, and hormones, especially testosterone and nitric oxide, which are key players in blood flow and erection quality. But when you're even slightly dehydrated, that system slows down, it thickens, it backs up like traffic. On a freeway, nothing gets where it needs to go. And when that happens, you do not just feel tired, you feel disconnected, your desire fades, your response dulls, and you begin to lose a part of yourself quietly, slowly. And yet, this is rarely discussed. We talk about heart health, we talk about blood pressure and cholesterol, but rarely does anyone tell you that water, the way you consume it, is a core element in staying vibrant as a man after 60. And most importantly, no one teaches us how to drink water properly. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s were raised to believe that thirst was a signal to drink, that chugging a bottle of cold water after yard work was good enough, that coffee and beer counted toward hydration. But here is what I teach my patients, and what I want you to understand deeply. Your body does not want to be flooded with water in one go. It wants rhythm and consistency. It wants to be respected, not shocked. When you drink water in large gulps, especially cold, your body cannot absorb it properly. Instead of nourishing your cells, it overwhelms your kidneys and flushes out essential minerals, leaving you feeling even more depleted. But when you drink in small sips while seated and allow that water to mix briefly with your saliva before swallowing, something different happens. Your nervous system shifts into rest and digest mode. Your cells receive the hydration. Your hormones begin to stabilize. Your blood pressure finds balance. Your circulation improves. That is not folk wisdom. That is modern science. Let me share another story to show you how common this issue is. A man named Daniel came in last year. He was 74, a former pilot, healthy by most standards. He walked every morning, ate clean, took no medications. But he told me something that struck me. He said, "Doc, I drink more water now than I used to, but honestly, I am not feeling the difference I expected." So we took a look at his daily routine. He started the day with strong black coffee, a glass of water, maybe an hour later lunch, included fruit, and maybe another glass of water. Dinner was with a glass of red wine. All of that seems fine on the surface until you understand what those habits actually do. Caffeine and alcohol are diuretics. They pull water out of your system. You may think you are hydrating, but in reality, You are just playing catch-up, constantly one step behind. Even the timing matters. Drinking water right after water-rich fruits like watermelon or oranges can dilute your digestive enzymes and leave you bloated and less hydrated than you think. And when you rush your hydration, especially around meals or bedtime, your body does not get what it needs. So I gave Daniel a revised plan. Start your day with a full glass of room temperature water before anything else. Add a pinch of natural sea salt to your second glass in the late morning to help retain minerals. Avoid caffeine after noon and skip alcohol at dinner time when possible. Sip slowly throughout the afternoon and stop drinking at least 1 hour before bed. 3 weeks later, he called me. He said, "Doc, I feel like I am finally in sync with my body again." That is the power of thoughtful hydration. You see, most men are not lacking pills or treatments. They are lacking rhythm. They are fighting against their own biology instead of working with it. And all of that begins with something as deceptively simple as water. I know it is not glamorous. I know it does not come with fancy branding or dramatic promises. But if you are a man over 60 and you feel like something inside you is quietly fading, I urge you to look at the most basic building block of your health. Ask yourself, when was the last time I really paid attention to how I hydrate? Because the answer may surprise you. And in the next part of this video, we are going to explore something even more overlooked: the hormonal connection, how dehydration silently suppresses testosterone, raises stress hormones, and makes you feel like a shadow of the man you once were. You will meet Walter and hear how one simple change helped him reconnect with his strength, identity, and spark. But for now, I want you to sit with this one thought. Water is not just a survival fluid. It is the medium of life. It is a carrier of your energy, your clarity, your desire, and your performance. Treat it with the respect your body has been quietly craving. Let me take you back to a quiet Thursday morning in my office. Walter sat across from me, his hands folded on his lap, his eyes thoughtful but dimmed by something deeper than age. He was 72, recently widowed, living alone for the first time in decades. He told me he was not sick, just tired, low energy, flat. He said, "Doc, I still get up every day. I go for a walk. I eat fine. I am not depressed, but I just feel like a part of me is missing." There was no dramatic symptom, no medical emergency, just a slow, invisible unraveling of the man he used to be. He still looked sharp, mind still clear, but inside something was off. Now, in cases like Walter's, many doctors might suggest medication or testosterone therapy, but I asked him something different. I asked Walter how much water he was drinking every day. He looked at me and said, "Not much, to be honest." And right, there was the real issue hiding in plain sight. You see, when the body is even slightly dehydrated, something profound happens beneath the surface, something that affects your hormones, your drive, your muscle mass, even your identity as a man. Dehydration is not just about being thirsty. It is a biological stress signal. When your body senses that water is limited, it shifts into survival mode. It prioritizes the essentials, keeping blood pressure stable, protecting your brain, your kidneys, your heart. But in doing so, it quietly shuts down the systems it deems less urgent. Reproduction, energy, muscle building, testosterone. They all get pushed to the background. Think of testosterone not just as a sex hormone, but as a signal, a flame that tells your body and brain you're strong, you are vital, you are ready to take on the world. But when your body feels threatened even by something as simple as low water intake, that flame begins to flicker. And there is more. Dehydration increases cortisol, your primary stress hormone, and cortisol and testosterone cannot both dominate the system at once. Is a biological seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. And most men over 60 are unknowingly stuck on the wrong side of that balance. They are not lacking masculinity. They are trapped in stress chemistry. That was Walter's story. He was not broken. He was running on emergency mode, and no one had ever told him. So instead of offering prescriptions, I offered him a daily hydration rhythm. I told him this: start every morning with a full glass of room temperature water before anything else. Sip steadily through the day. Keep a bottle with you. Avoid caffeine after lunch and skip alcohol in the evening. Do not wait to feel thirsty. And most importantly, drink seated, not standing. Let your body receive the water calmly. Walter followed this with quiet discipline. For weeks later, he came back into my office with a new spring in his step. He said, "Doc, I feel awake again. I am laughing more. I have energy, and I feel like myself again." His blood work confirmed what he already knew inside. Testosterone had risen, cortisol had dropped, sleep had improved, and his confidence had returned. All from water. No hormone therapy, no expensive programs, just giving his body what it had been silently asking for. Now, some of you might be wondering, is it really that simple? The answer is yes and no. Yes, it starts with hydration. But no, it is not only about the number of glasses you drink. It is about the relationship you build with your body. Let me explain. Most men I meet drink water reactively. They drink only when they are parched or after workout or before a pill. They chug ice cold water from the fridge. They drink standing up on the go distracted. And they think it is enough. But the truth is, it is not. Your body wants to feel safe before it can shift into performance mode. And safety comes from rhythm, from predictability, from intention. Drinking water mindfully is more than hydration. It is a message to your system that you are no longer in crisis, you are no longer surviving, you are living again. And that message unlocks powerful changes. Let me share the story of Mike. He is 68, former truck driver, big, strong man, tough as nails. When I told him his bedroom issues might be tied to how he drinks water, he laughed in my face. Doc, he said, it is water. What am I supposed to do? Meditate with it? I smiled and said, no, Mike, but you are supposed to respect it. That caught his attention. I asked him to treat hydration not as a chore, but as a ritual. Room temperature water only while sitting, small sips slowly throughout the day. Start early, stop at least an hour before bed, no coffee, after 2, no wine after dinner. He called me 3 weeks later and said, Doc, I do not know what kind of magic this is, but I feel stronger not just in bed and life. That is not magic. That is biology working with rhythm. Now, let me reveal a common mistake. Many men assume more water means better results, so they start chugging water all day long thinking they are helping their body. But overhydration can flush out minerals like sodium, magnesium, and potassium that your body needs for nerve signals, muscle contractions, and yes, erections. So here's a simple guide. Drink your first glass of water within 15 minutes of waking up. Add a pinch of sea salt to your second glass mid-morning. Drink 1 or 2 glasses around lunch, slowly seated. Another in the afternoon, especially if you had coffee or physical activity. 1 final glass in the early evening, at least an hour before bed. And remember, do not drink while walking or rushing or multitasking. Water should be absorbed, not dumped into the system. Now I want to talk about a hidden factor that amplifies hydration. A simple morning practice that only takes 7 seconds and supports everything we are talking about. Because hydration opens a door, but something else helps walk through it. It is a breathing technique, a way to stimulate nitric oxide, a molecule your body produces that signals your blood vessels to relax and expand, allowing for better blood flow to every part of your body, including the one you are thinking about. Most men over 60 have declining nitric oxide levels. This contributes to weaker circulation, slower response, and lower performance, even if their heart is strong. But here is the good news. You can activate nitric oxide production naturally. Right after your first morning glass of water, sit. Quietly inhale slowly through your nose, hold for 4 seconds, exhale gently through your nose. Repeat for 3 to 5 breaths. That simple act triggers nitric oxide release. It tells your blood vessels to open, it calms your nervous system, it enhances the effect of hydration. And most importantly, it signals your body that the day has begun with intention. I taught this to Greg, a 71-year-old who had been following his hydration perfectly, but still felt like something was missing. I gave him this breathing ritual and asked him to do it daily for 2 weeks. He came back and said, Doc, it feels like I switched back on, like my body remembers how to work again. That is the power of combining breath and water. No drugs, no gimmicks, just working with the body you already have. By now, you are starting to understand. Proper hydration is not just about water. It is about how and when and why you give it to yourself. It is about reclaiming your internal rhythm, the one that gets drowned out by years of stress and distraction. And it is about building a simple routine that reminds your body every day you're still here. You are still strong. You are still a man. In the next part, we are going to dive into the science. What research now confirms about hydration and sexual health. How just a 1 or 2% drop in hydration can affect your mood, memory, and arousal. And how men who build this hydration rhythm report firmer erections, better sleep, sharper minds, and deeper confidence. You will meet Carl, a 70-year-old who thought his best years were gone until water helped him come back to life. But until then, remember this. Your body listens to what you do every day, not what you say. Give it water with care, give it breath with intention, and give it the chance to return to who you truly are. Carl was 70 when he walked into my clinic. He was not sick, not injured, not looking for a miracle. He simply said, Doc, I feel like I am fading, not depressed, just disconnected. He used to feel sharp, driven, present now. He felt like he was watching life instead of living it. No joy in the mornings, no passion in his relationship, no sense of momentum. He chalked it up to getting older. But when we looked deeper, the signs were all there. Dry skin, low energy blood pressure, rising sleep, broken thoughts, foggy libido gone. And what stood out most to me, He barely drank water. He was like so many men his age, not avoiding hydration, but never taught how to respect it. I asked Carl to give me 6 weeks of committed hydration. Not extreme, just intentional. Room temperature water, small sips spread evenly across the day. Avoid cold chugging, no caffeine. After lunch, stop fluids, at least an hour before bed. He said that's it. I said yes, but treat it like it matters. He agreed. 6 weeks later, he walked in looking like a different man. His skin had color again, his posture was upright, his energy steady. He said my wife asked if I was okay because I seemed like myself again. That moment, that quiet recognition from someone who knows you best, that is a reward. You see when circulation improves, your brain thinks clearer, your heart pumps more easily, your hormones balance, your skin glows, and your bedroom response returns not as a surprise, but as a reflection of restored function. That is not a placebo, that is biology responding to care. Even a 1 or 2% drop in hydration can impair your memory, dull your mood, reduce your focus, and weaken your response. But when you give your body water the right way at the right times, it begins to remember how to work again. This is not just my experience. As a doctor, it is backed by science. Hydration improves blood viscosity. That means your blood flows more smoothly, carries more oxygen, delivers nutrients and hormones to where they are needed. It helps regulate your kidneys and liver, so your body processes waste hormones and toxins efficiently. It improves muscle contraction, nerve function, and even emotional resilience. When you are hydrated, your blood carries more testosterone, more nitric oxide, more vitality. You feel calm, confident, and connected. And that is what men like Carl rediscover. Now, let's talk about something critical. Why hydration becomes even more important after 60. In your 30s and 40s, you could get away with missing water, skipping meals, staying up late. You would feel a bit off, but bounce back the next day. But after 60, your body no longer covers for your bad habits. The buffer is gone. Your recovery slows your resilience, weakens the cause, and neglect shows up faster. That is why small mistakes like missing a few glasses of water, skipping a morning routine, or pushing through fatigue begin to feel heavier, more permanent. But they do not have to be. Let me tell you about Frank. He was 67, retired electrician, grandfather 3. He came in and said, "Doc, I feel like someone turned the volume down on my life. Not pain, not illness, just everything softer, dimmer, less alive." We looked at his routine. He had slowly replaced water with coffee and occasional beer. He ate, slept okay, but hydration had slipped through the cracks. So we rebuilt it. 1 glass of water upon waking. Another glass mid-morning with a pinch of sea salt. 1 or 2 glasses around lunch taken slowly while seated. 1 glass in the afternoon if outdoors or tired. Final small glass in the early evening, stopping an hour before bed. No cold water, no rushing, no distractions. Just rhythm. 3 weeks later, Frank sat up straighter, his voice stronger, his energy back. He said, "I did not realize how far I had drifted until I came back to myself." That is what proper hydration gives you after 60. Not superpowers, not a new identity. Just a return to the man you have always been underneath the fog. Because every system in your body becomes more dependent on balance as you age. Your cardiovascular health, your hormonal flow, your cognitive clarity, your emotional connection. All of them lean harder on hydration than you may realize. So here is your blueprint. This is the same rhythm I have given hundreds of men and seen work again and again. Upon waking, drink 1 full glass of room temperature water. Seated, no food, no coffee yet. Mid-morning, drink another glass with a small pinch of sea salt or trace mineral drops to help your body retain hydration. Around lunch, drink 1 or 2 glasses slowly, sitting down, not while multitasking. In the afternoon, have another glass, especially if you had caffeine or were physically active. Early evening, drink 1 final small glass, but no later than 90 minutes before bed to avoid nighttime disruptions. Pair your first glass of water with 3 slow nasal breaths in the morning to trigger nitric oxide release and prime your circulation. Avoid large amounts of water during meals or directly after fruit. Avoid cold water from the fridge. It shocks the body and delays absorption. Avoid drinking while standing or distracted. Let your body focus on receiving. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. You do not need gallon jugs or tracking apps. You need a rhythm, a way to tell your body day after day, "I am here, I care, let us thrive." And the benefits compound. Better sleep, sharper thoughts, easier erections, more stable mood, reduced inflammation, more oxygen to your brain, more confidence in your bones. All because you chose to respect the most basic need your body has. Water. Now I want to leave you with something important. Over the last 30 years, I have sat with thousands of men who thought they were broken men, who believed their best years were behind them. But they were not broken, they were dehydrated, they were out of rhythm. They were neglected by a world that never taught them how to maintain their masculine vitality beyond youth. You now know more than most doctors will ever tell you about hydration and male health. You have learned that blood flow is 90% water, that hormonal balance depends on hydration, that cortisol and testosterone are in constant dance, that breathing and hydration together unlock circulation, that your daily rhythm determines how your body performs. You have met Elliot, Walter, Mike, Daniel, Carl, and Frank. All different stories, one shared truth. When you treat hydration as foundational, your body begins to remember your strength. This is not about going backward in time. It is about reclaiming your energy, your power, your connection, your spark. And it starts with one glass of water. One decision to sit, breathe, and sip with intention. One choice to believe your best years are not lost but waiting. So here is my invitation to you. Start tomorrow morning. Before the coffee, before the news, before the phone. Sit with yourself, glass in hand, breathe, slowly sip, slowly remind your body that it is cared for. Stack the habit daily and watch as your clarity, your desire, and your strength return. You do not need to fight aging. You need to nourish life. Stay hydrated, stay consistent, stay strong. More strategies, more science, and more truth are on the way. But for now, start here. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine is the one you've been overlooking all along. Water.